movies. In fact, I only think in pictures. So if you hand me a grocery list, you know, it's like, for a split second, not for long, just for a second, it's just hieroglyphics. Yeah, look at those lines. And then pictures come in. Oh, can of raid, can of pledge, happy, whatever. So, my memory is the same way. Now, when was this? It was recently, not, a year or so maybe ago, after most of these interviews. My doctor said to me, yeah, good, everything's fine, so I'd like you to go see a psychiatrist. And I said, okay, is there some reason why? What is it? And he said, oh no, it's nothing, it's just that, let's be honest, you lost parent lotto as far as genetics are concerned. Now, the thing is, I knew that, so I'd actually been going on my own since my mother was 30 when she began having her moments away of the mind. And so since then, I go to a shrink, every 2 or 3 years, just once to get checked and see, if I need to be committed to a hospital for the criminally insane or what. So I was fine. So I went to this doctor, and I've seen psychiatrists, which are physicians, as you know, who prescribe medication and diagnose you with things. But I would also see therapists, who are the people that hand you tissues, tell you to speak in I statements. I've seen a lot, and I was raised by a psychiatrist as well. This one asked me a question no one has ever asked. He said, so, do tags in your t-shirts bother you? And I was like, yeah. And as I said it, I had a hole in my t-shirt from when I ripped the tag out of the cab. And he went on and on with this line of questioning. And each question was not only something I'd never been asked, but I'd never considered, and the answer was yes. It was weird, and I was kind of getting excited. What is it? What do I have? What am I? I knew I was part chimpanzee, just enough to know I'm not fully human. And then he said, I have a point to all this. It's kind of long, and it's not even a very good point, but it gives me something to talk about before I turn it over to you for questions. So he said, what you have has one name, or 12 names, or no names, depending on who you ask. I'm not one of those people who likes boxes, and I was like, oh, but I do. I like them. What is it? Anyway, so he had a name, and I don't even know what it is, sensory something. Everyone always, yeah, see, you know, I don't know. Sensory something not working, right? And along with an endless string of physical, there's one little thing he said. He said, often what I see with people is there's an interesting thing with memory. As when we're very young and we leave the high chair, for the regular chair, we tend to forget our experiences of the high chair as our brain develops new memories. But people with this often retain these memories very vividly and forever. And when he said that, I thought, well, that just explains everything, doesn't it? That explains it all. So, that's how I know my stuff's real, because it just happened. My brain's broken. So, when I'm writing these little stories of mine, it's as though it's happening now. And I can tell you that waking up in bed next to Fat French Santa at the Waldorf is no more fun now than it was when I was in my 20s. It's not. It's not. Ugh. All right. If you have things to say, you could just say yes. I have no more relationships with anybody. How's it affected? Well, I hate this. How can I modulate it better? I've heard from people that I was not in touch with, I have to think, because I change everybody's names in the book, so I only remember their real names. Hayden, the Brit from Dry, and what was that crap, Foster from Dry, yeah, those two, and I'm in touch with both of them, and they're doing really well, really well. How has it affected? I don't really know that it has. No. Dennis? Yeah, except for him. No, he hasn't done that. My brother, when I wrote, although not necessarily about him, but it served to open him up. It made him less shy. I mean, I think we didn't have the same childhood, and we basically didn't have the same parents, although we were the same people. But it was, didn't like to talk about it, so I think it made him more comfortable with it. And maybe people feel things they don't tell me. That's possible too, I would never write something to, and this doesn't make it, look, I may be a big ass, I may be. I will write about my life, and there are other people in it, but if it's my story, I'll write it. But what I won't write is when it's someone else's story, even if it involves me intensely, even though I want to right now, there's a couple things, but I can't even talk about them or even tell anybody. And it's like, well, that's better than anything I ever went through, but I can't. So that's kind of where I think of it. Yeah. How many drafts do I do of the same thing? Okay.